Hey everyone, it's Wally44 here. Today I'll be going over an advanced tutorial of the Minecraft mod Mcheli. I'm going to show you how to download it, how to get started, the more advanced user controls to help you navigate the mod, and then finally some advanced user tips to help you customize vehicles and make your own customization. Let's begin. First, you're going to go to curseforge.com. The front page will look like this. We'll click Minecraft, and we'll search for Minecraft mods. We'll search up Mcheli. The first result will be Mcheli Minecraft helicopter mod. This is what we'll be installing today. There are a couple of variants, but for now we're going to stick to the base. Click it, go to Files, and navigate to Mcheli version 1.0.3. Click Download, and then wait 5 seconds, and it'll begin your install. Now, it failed because I'm using a different browser, but for you, it'll work. Now, for this next part of the video, you are going to want to set up a 1.710 Forge install. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube to show you how to do this. Now, I'm going to show you how to create an instance for Atlauncher and install Mcheli. For Atlauncher, we're going to make an instance name, set a description, and then navigate to our version, which for this will be 1.710. Pick the Forge loader down here and just use the latest version. Click Create Instance. Atlauncher will then automatically install Forge for you and make a new instance right here. Click Open Folder. Now it is going to open up the instance folder, show you where everything is. I've already included a couple of mods just to help out with the tutorial, and now we're going to go drag in Mcheli. Move it to your mods folder, and now we are going to extract it. Make sure once you have extracted Mcheli that you don't have this meta in file. Instead, you want to drag this to your mods folder. This is actually Mcheli, and delete this. It should look like Mcheli, and it should have two folders, Mcheli and assets, along with the readme and the MC mod info. That is how you know you have properly extracted it. If you do not do this, you will crash upon trying to load into the game. Now we are going to start Minecraft. Now that you've loaded into the game, we can actually start going over the mod. Make sure you set your controls beforehand, as obviously using anything is going to be annoying. Hit E, navigate to the creative tabs. You'll see 5 tabs for all the different Mcheli parts. This tab will be various items. This is your helicopters tab, your planes tab, your tanks and cars tab, and your turrets tabs. Quickly here, I'm going to disable mob spawning. Now is a good time to show off one feature that Mcheli adds. It has a command /Mcheli Killentity, and if you put dot, this will kill every single entity in the game without dropping items on the ground. First, I'll be showing you how to actually get vehicles in Mcheli, and this is using the drafting table. This is what you'll need to get access to all the vehicles in survival. Once you open it, it'll have a recipe set for fuel. So here's all the helicopters, as you can see, and it'll have their crafting recipes. This is very useful because a lot of the times the different pack creators for Mcheli are not worried about compatibility with other people's vehicles, and they'll have the same recipes. It doesn't matter though, because the drafting table lists out every helicopter and every vehicle in the exact same way. Once you have the appropriate items in your inventory, just click select. Once you've selected a recipe, it'll take all the materials, put them in the grid, and just press create. It'll use those materials, and then you'll have the item in your inventory. Very useful. Next, I'll be showcasing the laser rangefinder and the geo target designator. The laser rangefinder is very useful for finding out how far away something is. It can mark monsters and mobs, players and vehicles, but what we'll be using is mark point. You can see in the top left we have something called mode. I'm going to hit that key, which is V, and it'll swap to mark point. Now we can set little markers to ascertain how far away something is. Keep in mind that this is not completely accurate, but it is way better than trying to eyeball it. And it'll also display the chords when you mouse over it in a regular view. Next is the GeoTarget Designator. When you place it down, you'll see that it has A10 Gal 8 Avenger selected. Now this is basically your own A10 Warthog strike. If you select anywhere on the ground and right click, this A10 will come and strike anything you want down. Very, very nice. You can change the cam mode by hitting C, and then dismount with left shift or whatever key you have set to your dismount. When you spawn in things in MC Heli, by default, they're not going to come with any fuel. For this, I'll go into survival. They're not going to have any fuel or any amount of weapons in them, as you can see. You're going to need these things to power MC Heli vehicle. First, we'll put the fuel in, and this will allow us to fly our vehicle. Next, we'll hit reload, and this will allow us to put ammo into whatever weapon we are trying to use. I'm pressing W to lift off the ground here, and then pressing space to go into hover mode. Now, I'm going to right click, and that's going to allow me to use the weapon. I'll use the mouse wheel to navigate through the different weapons, and now that I've selected the Hydra Rocket, I right click, and that has an effect. There are a lot of different weapon types in MC Heli, so I'll be going over those later in the advanced part of this tutorial. Another useful thing is the Javelin. Now the Javelin can lock on to any kind of vehicle. You hold it until that bar fills up, and then you left click. It will then fire out and destroy whatever target you have. As you can see, it did massive damage to this B1 Centauro. Next we have the Stinger. The Stinger also is a lock-on vehicle, but it only works with planes and helicopters that are currently occupied, so I will not be able to show it off in single player. However, it functions practically the same as a Javelin, just not for ground vehicles. Now I will be going over a basic overview of all the different types of vehicles that you can find in MC Heli besides the drone. The drones will be covered in a bit. There are 6 major types of vehicles in MC Heli: helicopters, planes, cars, tanks and other armored vehicles, turrets, and boats. Boats you will find under the same tab as planes, and cars are bundled under the same tab as tanks. And they all have their own. These all perform differently, and they all have their unique traits. As you know, turrets are stationary, boats are for the water, and cars do not have munitions. First, I'll be demonstrating a helicopter, since it's easy to explain here. When you get into a helicopter, you're going to immediately notice a lot of buttons. We don't need to worry about any of them right now. First, you're going to want to hold W to get into the air. Now, one thing you need to know is that you'll always need to be holding your throttle key, which is W, while in the helicopter. This causes it to go up. If you stop doing that, the helicopter will start to descend. Now we're going to start maneuvering. You can maneuver in a helicopter by holding A or D. Next, we're going to go into third person to show off some other things about helicopters. We're going to hit F5, and by default the camera is in a very awkward position. We're going to hit page up to zoom out, and I'll show you how to change this key later. And now we're able to see much more of the helicopter. To go into a free look mode, we're going to hit left control, and this will allow us to look around. Now, when we're in the first person view, we can see that we have a gear up key. When you press it, it will bring up the gear and allow the helicopter to move faster. When we're done using the helicopter, we can simply hit B again and then land. Notice how the third person change applies even when you're out of a vehicle. You hit the page down key to zoom back in and get a normal view of your player. Next, we'll be showing off planes. Now, some features of planes and helicopters overlook. In order to get started, you're going to hold your throttle key W, and that's going to cause you to go forward. Once you've crossed a certain distance, you'll be allowed to maneuver freely in the plane, and you can steer by using your mouse. It basically has a mouse aim. You can tilt to the left and right using the A and D keys. The same third-person mechanics apply here. Press B to let your gear up, and you can move around. Now, there's a feature for if you're getting locked on called the flare key, and helicopters have this too. If you press it, smoke will be released behind your vehicle, and it'll block incoming missiles. That was a plane. Next, it is time to go over both cars and tanks. Cars have something called searchlights, and a bunch of other vehicles have it too. You can toggle them by hitting C. However, by default, they do look kind of weird. You can throttle up and watch how much you have your throttle up by looking at the rev meter. Now for cars, by default, and tanks, the throttle meter is consistent if you're not hitting it. You simply adjust it with W and S. If you want to brake, you hit space, and that'll stop you. Open hatch does nothing on these vehicles. Sometimes there are just useless buttons on vehicles due to how the creators configured. Sometimes vehicles have inventories. You can access this by hitting R and pressing the inventory button. Next, we'll be going over tanks. Tanks can also have a flare key, and they work the same. If you press them, it'll be impossible for the enemy to lock onto you for a couple of seconds, and it will help you to block incoming rockets or missiles. Tanks work the same way with the throttle. You press W, and you'll start to move. By default, it does not go down. You can change your sight view from pressing the C key, which helps you to see at night. And there is a thermal key, which helps you to see vehicle heat signatures. You can zoom in on targets on certain vehicles by pressing the Z key. This helps you to easily ascertain where they are and fire upon them accurately. Next, I'll be showing turrets. Turrets are stationary weapon systems, and they can be placed anywhere throughout the world. Keep in mind that turrets can be picked up by anyone, and this goes for all MCLE vehicles. They can be picked up by anyone, and they can be entered by anyone. So it is not ideal to leave vehicles lying around. Turrets look and work the same way as you expect. They have different camera modes, and you can just fire upon things. Very, very simple weapon system. Next are boats. I'm going to go into a different world to showcase these off. Remember, boats are found under the same tab as air vehicles. To place a boat, go into the water, press right click, and it will rise to the surface. Once you're in a boat, you'll be able to ride around in the water. Now, there are some exceptions to this. Now, one thing to note, boat throttle works the same way as tank throttle and car throttle, whereas it is consistent until you start to press S or W. You can use free look the same way, and some boats will even have weapon system. One thing to know about boats is that if you have a mod like realistic fluids or a custom map that uses flowing water, boats by default in MC Heli are completely still and will not move. If you like this video and learned from it, make sure to like and subscribe. I do a lot of content like this. I see that my channel is experiencing some growth recently, and thank you for all the subscribers. I'm trying to get to 100 subs and just consistently put out good content to get more knowledge and awareness for the kind of mods I like. So yeah, if you want to see more, make sure to support the channel. The next part of the tutorial will be coming sometime this week, so stay tuned. Alright, see you.